So we're here at the TechBBQ at the Opera in Copenhagen. There's about 1,000 tech startups present, and there's been a track about growth. And I just hooked up with Steffen here to have a few words with him about the prerequisites for growth. So Steffen, you're the CEO of Bounty. I was wondering, do you have some advice you could share on if you want to do rapid growth? What are the key things you need to do to get ready for that?
Well, I think one thing we've learned really quickly was that having the foundation of data ready was key. Like, I mean, all the standard stuff you hear about how you get into a growth phase of a startup, having the right team, the right idea, all of that. Let's say that's a foundation that you build on. Many people forget having data that they can make enlightened decisions upon. I think something we did really well quite early was to get that foundation straight. Maybe spend a disproportionate amount of time and resources early on to do that. At a cost of growth, maybe even in some cases, but it's put us in a position right now where we can actually do better decision making. We can optimize our marketing spend a lot more, our marketing mix a lot more generally. I think that's been a strong point. So I definitely advise people to do whatever they can. The beauty of the online world is that everything is traceable or trackable. So please do that. I mean, that's the best.
So getting data early also means having some traffic to generate that data. Was that a high cost at a time when you didn't really do much revenue?
I mean, time-wise and resources-wise, to get that structure right. I mean, anything from tracking where does a cohort come from to what do we earn on them, all of that was difficult and consuming. But on the other hand, I mean, it's those types of data points not necessarily depending on scale or size. So even if a cohort is only one consumer, you'd still have the data point.
So it's a matter of getting the structures right, so that when you start getting scale, you measure all the right things in all the right ways.
Absolutely.
So any particular kind of data that was sort of more important than other data, or that surprised you as very important?
I think what I see when I advise other startups now is that they tend to have a pretty good idea of their cohort cost, or the acquisition cost of a user from a different channel. That's something you get basically out of the tools. If you do Facebook advertisement, the conversion tracking is quite easy to set up, so you know your cost. On the other hand, they basically let go of the user at that point. So what they optimize towards is lower and lower acquisition cost, which I think is a trap, to be honest, because you end up doing all these incentivized stupid campaigns with competitions on top of it and all of that. So people they're not really interested in your product. They just end up on your site by chance. You have a pretty low
cheap users, but they're not the right ones.
Exactly. So I think if you draw that as a curve, I think you would see like higher up at the price point will actually get proportionally more quality users. I think that's a really a trap that I see a lot of startups fall into.
So you would advise towards getting lifetime values and thinking about that early in the.
I can't say that for some startups, low acquisition cost is maybe the right way to go because you just can't optimize the lifetime value. But for a startup like ours, there's so much difference in lifetime value depending on the channel that we acquire users from. And we found really early on that the cheapest channel is definitely not the best one in terms of revenue return on investment.
In terms of the ratio of the two. Yes. Yeah.